Hello Smith, you're welcome back to my channel. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to make a simple straight cut palazzo trouser. Now, if you'll be finding it very hard to cut a pant trouser, a palazzo trouser, or you have been finding it difficult to cut anything that has to do with trouser, this tutorial is for you because it is well detailed. So this fabric is what I'm working with, and I'm going to cut out the length that I'm going to be working with. Okay, so I will do that, and I'm going to explain to you how you're going to do that as well. Now if you watch this fabric, now I've cut out the length I want. Now while cutting out this length, I subtracted 2 inches for my band because I'm going to be attaching a 2 inches band. Do you understand? Now what I'm doing right now is to mark out 2 inches for hemming. Okay, this 2 inches is going to be allowance for hemming the down of my pant trouser. Do you understand? So that is the first thing you're going to do. You set aside your 2 inches hemming allowance. Then if you're attaching a band, then go ahead and remove the inches, how many inches band you are going to be attaching. So mine, in this case, I am attaching 2 inches band to it, and that is why I subtracted 2 inches. Do you understand? I already subtracted 2 inches from the length of my pant trouser. Now whatever measurement I am marking, I am going to bear in mind that I have subtracted 2 inches already for my band. Do you understand? So now I am going to mark my hip line, then my crotch line, then my knee line, then the down, as you know, is the length and our allowance. Do you understand? So I marked, and I'm just going to remark this my knee line. Okay, I'm going to remark my knee line. I'm going to remeasure it and remark it because I feel is a bit longer than the usual, than how it's supposed to be. So I'm going to remeasure it and I'll confirm that. Okay, so right now I am going to place my tape like this. Remember I said I had already subtracted 2 inches, so I have that in mind why I measure. Okay, so this is the right line for my knee line, because remember I'm going to be attaching 2 inches, remember, to the waist. Okay, so here is my knee line after I measured it again, subtracting the 2 inches waistband. Do you understand? So here is the lines, the waist, the hip, the crotch, the knee. Then already you know we have our length and allowance on the hem. Okay, now to start the work, the first thing we are going to do now is to start imputing our lines. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is to divide my hip circumference by 4. Then inside it I'm going to add 1 inch allowance. Now in this case my hip circumference divided by 4 is 11.5 inches, and I added 1 inch allowance to it, giving me 12.5 inches. So I'm marking that 12.5 inches on the waistline, on the hip line, then down to the crotch line. Do you understand? So that is what you do to get a straight line, and this straight line now serves as our crotch line. Do you understand? So now I am going to measure 1.5 inches here. Okay, then my crotch extension is 2.5 inches. That is what I mark. Okay, so now it's time to pick up my curve ruler, and I'm going to be connecting the 2.5 inches to this 1.5 inches, then up to the hip line. Do you understand? So that is how to get your curve here, your crotch curve. And remember, like I said, if you don't know how to take measurement for your trouser, please, you're going to sit down on a flat chair. Okay, and you're going to measure, put the beginning of your tape exactly where you normally wear your trouser, then take it down to the chair. Okay, to the base of the chair. Make sure your tape is relaxed on the base of the chair. That is whatever number you have relaxing on the base of your chair, that is your crotch measurement. Do you understand that? So what I did now is I measured from that place where I marked 2.5 inches crotch extension, then I measured it to the folded part, then divided the line into 2. This is to get the midpoint that serves as that beautiful creasing line we have after sewing our trouser. We iron it on top of the knee. You see that beautiful creasing line on top of the knee of our pant trouser. Okay, so that is the reason for this straight line that I am ruling here. It's very important when making your pant trouser. Okay, so I went on to connect it as shown. So the next thing I'm going to do here now is that I am going to pick up my tape, and I am going to be measuring what we need. Now I measured what I have here and it's 15.5 inches. So I'm going to be marking it all the way down to the hem of my trouser. I hope you can see the way I'm hemming it, marking it. So I am going to connect it into a straight line down, and from here now to the folded edge becomes the working space. Okay, the working space. All right. So now the next thing I'm going to do now is to determine how big I want my pant to be. So in this case, I'm marking in 1.5 inches. Now, if you want your palazzo to be very close to fitted, you're just going to use 2 inches. But if you want it to be moderate straight cut palazzo pant, please use 1.5 inches. So that is what you see me doing here. I'm just marking that 1.5 inches on both sides, on the hem here, on the knee of both sides. Do you understand? So that is what I am doing right now. And after that, I proceeded to use my ruler to connect the lines. Okay, remember I said if you don't want the palazzo to be too wide, use 2 inches. If you want it to be very close to a pencil trouser, like straight trouser, normal straight trouser. Okay, but this one is going to be moderately straight, like it's going to be moderate straight cut uh, palazzo pants. So I connected the other side, and it's time for me to connect this side as well. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to take it to the hip line. Now I came down 1.5 inches below the hip line. This is because if you take it straight to the hip line, the line here is going to be too pointed. And remember, our hip is not pointed. Okay, so from here I measured, I mark my bust nipple to nipple divided by 2. That is my bust span divided by 2. Then I marked it there, then I came down 3.5 inches, and that will be my that length. Then on both line I measured half inch and connected it down to the 3.5 inches, and that becomes my dart. Do you understand? Okay, so now it's time for me to measure my waist circumference. Now my waist circumference divided by 4 is 10 inches. Then remember, I have 1 inch that here. I'm going to mark that 1 inch. Then I want also 1 inch for joining allowance. Sorry, half inch for joining allowance. So that is why I mark that half inch, so that I can use it to join this particular front with the back. Do you understand? So that is what I went on to mark. Then I proceed to connect it. So you can see the look of our straight cut palazzo pant. This is how to cut it. It's not difficult. It is very simple and easy to cut. So I am just going to remark this line so that it can be very visible to us, and that will be all. Now there's something I normally do here. I normally come down 3 inches, 3.5 inches here, then come in 0.5 inches to eliminate excess fabric around there, because if you don't do this, sometimes, especially in the case of making palazzo, you find out that there are excess fabrics around there, kind of bulky effect around there. So I use this to eliminate that bulk effect, and it has been very helpful. Like, I have always loved it, the outcome when I do this. Okay, so that is it, and I proceeded to cut out. So after cutting out, I have this, and I'm going to get another fabric ready to cut the back part of our pants trouser. Okay, so I proceeded to fold this fabric, as you can see, and I placed the front part on it and pinned it down. Okay, so that's what you do as well. Ensure that you secure it properly on your pin. Then the next thing we are going to do right now is to extend our crotch line. Okay, So I'm just going to extend this line frontwards like this. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is to mark that same 2.5 inches that I used to extend my um front crotch. Now remember, this 2.5 inches is not like it's not a must you use it. Okay, you can use other measurement depending on your hip size. Now here I measured in 1 inch, and up here I am measuring 1.5 inches. Can you see? I measured 1.5 inches here, and I'm going to connect it to the 1 inch I came in around the waist side here. Can you see? So I connected it to it. Okay, to this 1 inch I came in here. Now I am going to determine what I'm using for my allowance for the crotch. I'm using 2 inches, and that is why I'm marking 2 inches all the way from my crotch extension to this 1.5 inches upwards. Okay, so that is what I am using. So it's not like mandatory for you to use these 2 inches. You can use 1.5, you can also use 2.5 inches. It all depends on the hip size of the individual you're working for. Okay, you are working the hip size you are working with. Now on the knee here I am making use of 1.5 inches because remember, this is a palazzo pant. It's not as if it's a very fitted pant, it's already free, so much allowance is not actually needed. Okay, but if you're making a pencil pant trouser, that is a normal fitted pant trouser, use as much as allowance you want to use in case of adjustment or ease. So I proceeded to connect like this, and that 1.5 inches I marked here, I am going to take it down to the hem as well. So let me adjust this so that you can maybe see towards the hem. So I'm going to be using the 1.5 inches all till I get to the hem. Okay. So that is it, and I am going to cut out. Now if you notice, I only cut out on one piece, and remember our front pieces were two, the back should also be two. So after cutting this, I am going to place it on another fabric and duplicate exactly the same as the one I just finished cutting, which is the back part. So I actually cut it one after the other, as in one by one, because I want to manage the fabric very well so that it can be able to use it for another project that I am going to be using it for. So that's the reason for that. So you can go ahead to fold your fabric for the back two at the same time and cut it out once. But I'm doing this because I want to manage my fabric very well so that it will be enough for what I want to use it for. So that is why I just went on to place it on another fabric I cut out, and I will go on secure with my pin, then I will cut it out exactly. So after cutting it out, that will be the end of our cutting tutorial. So please, if you have any question, don't forget that you can ask that on the comment section, and I am always available to return your questions. If you also have suggestion, go ahead and let me know on the comment section, and I'll see you there. So these are the two back, as you can see. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.